Are you my grandma? Stop it. I think the UK loves it on a level I never will truly understand. The fairy tales are real. No, I sound crazy. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette and I moved to the UK 2.5 years ago and I am documenting my experiences. So for today's video, I wanted to do one about all the British things I've come to love and have become staples in my life, and things that I truly can't live without, as the title suggests. So these are things that if I was to move back to Australia, these are the things I would miss the most. So yeah, I won't waffle too much, but we'll jump into it. Number one, my favourite thing about the UK, this isn't listed to be fair, just don't list this, but it's just top things that I enjoy. In no particular order, is I love British panel shows. Every single day am refreshing to see if Big Fat Quiz is on this year and who is in the lineup. And they haven't said it yet, and I'm like, it's November, guys. Let's get it out. I need to know if it's the Goth Detectives. I love Big Fat Quiz. I love Would I Lie to You? I love panel shows in general. They're fantastic. The banter that the hosts have, it's like kind of a lazy way of having friends, which sounds pathetic, but do you know what I mean? Like, you get to just be, it's like hanging out with friends without having to like interact. So it's really enjoyable. It's like Gogglebox kind of thing, just connecting. Fantastic, funny stuff. I love panel shows. One thing I don't think I'll ever get over, no matter how long I live here, is that I can just go for a drive and there can just be a castle there. I know this happened heaps in Ireland. We'd just be like on the road and there's this like magnificent ruined castle and you're like, this would be a huge deal in Australia. Like, people would come from around the country to see this and it's just on the side of the motorway and no one cares. It's like, because you have so many castles. I understand why, but like, it's still amazing to me. I remember, I don't know why, I was in like Tower of London when I came for travels. I went into Tower of London and they went into the armory and they had like the knight's armor. And that was like, it just like clicked in my brain to be like, the fairy tales are real. Like, so when you grow up not in a monarchy and not in Europe, there's no castles, there's no royal family. I know there is elsewhere, but not in your country. Like, you're not exposed to prince and princesses and things. You're not exposed to like, obviously dragons, things like that. I know dragons aren't real. They're kind of just all put in the same bag of like, these are things for fairy tales. Elves, pygmies, princesses, witches and dragons, castles, knights. They're all put in the same bag of like, close that off mentally. That's magic. That's not real. That's for children's entertainment. And then I came and I was like, oh. So I just had this light bulb moment that everything I'd grown up with and things I loved as a child were like, real, which is like a weird thing when you like, I guess I probably knew back in the day, like I think I knew on some level, but I hadn't really connected the dots. They were just kind of all in the same part of my brain. And so it's really cool when you come to realize that you're like essentially living your childhood dreams of like knights and fairies, not fairies. Okay, now I sound crazy. That coupled with like, obviously my love of Harry Potter, it was just like a world that was inside my head was now real and I was like, oh, I guess I live in it, and that was fantastic. I don't know where I was going with this, but I love castles. You have no idea how good the tube is. I know I'm one of those people now that if I get to the tube and it's like 4-minute wait, I'm like, ugh. I get it. But it truly is fantastic. Tapping on, tapping off, not having to buy tickets, being able to get anywhere, being able to get anywhere and not have to wait. Peak hour in Sydney, you wait 15 minutes. I'm like, it's crazy. And then you've also got rail around the country, so you're traveling anywhere, so everywhere's accessible. I will say the prices should change for particularly the overground, or just the rail services, but you know, nothing's perfect yet. I just think it's fantastic and I think I would definitely miss that. I used to rage on the way home from work when I worked in Sydney, and I used to just sit there in my head building a thesis as to why you call it like TfL, it's called City Rail in Sydney. So we call it Shitty Rail or City Fail. And I'd sit there and come up with like a thesis as to why it's broken and how to fix it and what's wrong with it and blah. And fume. So I don't have to do that now, which is great. So I don't know if I could go back. It'll be interesting when I do, because I'll be like, it'll be interesting with my new perspective. I think it'll infuriate me more. I love how cashless the UK is. I don't know, this could just be a time thing. where I'm from might be the same, but I truly enjoy just being able to tap. I haven't held cash in so long. I don't think I've ever really held cash in the UK, to be completely honest. Everything's always been cashless for me and I love it. I hate carrying cash. It makes me nervous. But yeah, tapping on, tapping off everywhere I go. Loves it. And then I also love and would miss the pubs. Now, I don't know, all over the world, people have tried to replicate pub culture and they just haven't done it the right way. I don't know, there's something special about British pubs and there's something in the water here, I don't know. But they're cozy, they're not like, sometimes whenever alcohol gets mixed, often it gets like raucous and a bit like inappropriate, but it's not. Pubs here can be family, they can be raucous, they can be anything. They're just cozy, comforting places. Pub trivia is also lovely, and they get, depending on where you go, but you mostly get decent food, unless it's a Wetherspoons, but hopefully you've seen that video of mine. If not, I did the best and worst Wetherspoons, and that's where I'll leave it. But yeah, overall, pub culture, fantastic. Yeah, I just love it so much. I just love the hominess of it, the Christmas, like it's just, I don't know, it's like je ne sais quoi, like well, you can't explain it. It's just something special. In Australia, we don't really have pubs, we have like RSLs, but they're like literally just like a Wetherspoons, which we know. So I would definitely miss the pub culture and the pub quizzes most of all. On that note, something that I've always tried to get my head around, I don't know if I ever have, is Sunday roasts. Like, it's truly an interesting thing to me that like everyone in the country just has the same meal on the same day. That is not a thing where I'm from. And often you go to the pub to do it because obviously making Yorkshire is really hard. It's wild to me. And they're great, they're beautiful, they're very hearty and lovely, don't get me wrong. I like a roast. I think the UK loves it on a level I never will truly understand. But I love the concept. I love that everyone comes together on a Sunday and sometimes goes to a pub to have with their family to have a roast. I think that's really cute. Yeah, maybe it's because I don't eat meat, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever fully understand, but I like it on paper. I like it sometimes. I don't eat it every week, but I like it when I have it. One thing that surprised me in the UK and that I don't think I'll ever be able to go back to is meal deals and just to-go food in general. Like, they have done that so you could go anywhere and get a sandwich. Like, you never have to be hungry in the UK. Like, there's always, and the road stops, oh my gosh, I love when you're going on a road trip and you've got those, like, I don't know if they're called like service stops, is that it? Like where there's often like fast food, or like you'll be able to like get, I don't know, do you know what I mean? It's like a little supermarket, but like a really well kept one, like on the side of the road, and you can get like road snacks. It's great. And like, yeah, Boots, Tesco's, Waitrose, Sainsbury's, Co-op, everyone has some sort of meal deal, some sort of to-go food. You have to get the deal, but like, you know you're gonna end up with the deal because it just makes sense and that's how they get you. So like, it's just so good and it's like quite affordable. Like, it's crazy to me how well, like I haven't seen that. I don't know about America, but in Australia, like that's not a thing. Like to-go food, like they really need to get on it because it's like not a thing. Not a thing. I love it so much. I think if I was now to go back, I think I'd rage because I'd be like, I'm hungry and I didn't plan ahead. What am I supposed to do? Now this next one I put on because I don't even know what to call it, but like the Brits use a lot of endearing words. Australians just use the C word, which is the most complimentary of all. But I was talking to a customer at work the other day and she kept calling me Poppet, and I was like, this is going on the list. No one's ever called me Poppet. She was like, you're a doll, you're a doll, you're a gem, thank you Poppet, thank you. Are you my grandma? Stop it. It was so sweet, and I love it, and you get that all the time, is like they'll say love and darling and that, but yeah, this woman just like epitomized the whole, I guess, endearing nature. My mum, I grew up with my mum, and maybe that's why, because she used to call everyone darling, and she calls them all darling because she forgets everyone's names, so everyone's sweetie darling. If you know Ab Fab, which is absolutely fabulous, there's Patsy and Eddie. My mum is Eddie, for context. So yeah, I'm used to that, so I think on some level it like plays into how my mum used to talk, so I'm like, pop it? I will miss the weather. Shoot me. I love British weather. Oh my god, I even got up the other day on Halloween. I got up, it was like raining. Daniel's football game was rained out. I went out, I was hungover. I came downstairs, and I looked out the window, it was blowing, it was cold, and it was rainy, and I turned down and I was like, this is like a white Christmas for me. Like waking up on Halloween and having that horrific weather, I was like, yes, this is what I want. And then, so am I a bit goth? A little bit. So I love having the excuse to get cozy and watch films, but then you also have like the sunny days and it's never too hot, and I don't get burnt to well, I actually do get burnt to a crisp sometimes, but not as much as I used to. It's fantastic, never too hot, never that cold. I went to Lapland, so like Finland, like North Finland, like the Arctic, the proper Arctic, and it was like minus 20 degrees, and I was like, that's cold. When I have to like put 4 layers on to walk outside, that's cold. The UK's never that cold. Gives me enough variance to keep it interesting, but not enough to like severely impact my day to day. And that's exactly the sweet spot. I can't think of anywhere else weather-wise I would prefer to live than the south of England. I'm sorry, Northerners. On that note, I just love parks in the UK, particularly London, to be honest, because I live in a bit more rural area now, and we have so many parks and farms and it's stunning, but there's something about a curated garden with a fountain. It's just beautiful. It's like being in a film, being in a storybook. Just want to go talk to Mr. Darcy about getting my dowry. I don't know. They're just so nice. I think it's also maybe fountains. Maybe just like fountains. All this time I just liked parks, but really I just liked a garden with a fountain. We've all learned something today. My last one, and I think it's probably the most important, I love British humour. They're so funny. It gets me every time. I love the sarcastic, dry humour, and you can just say things deadpan and people are into it. And it's like, I personally, but maybe I'm just like stroking my ego, is that I think it's slightly more intelligent type of humour, but yeah, I think it's just because I enjoy it. In that you don't, like hypothetically, if it was on TV, like you don't need a laugh track. You can all like get the joke without having to be like obvious, like you have to pay attention to be like and be rewarded for it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's the right way to explain it, but I love British humour, and I love the sass of it all, and the bands and the dry deadpan. I love that dynamic. It is the best. So those are my favourite things about England and things I would miss. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Tell me in the comments below, what are your favourite things about England? What do you think you would miss the most of all if you had to move abroad? What's the thing you could never get over? If you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe so I can see you next time. We've got lots of exciting things coming for December. I recommend you subscribe. Alright, thanks so much for watching.